AI was top of mind in 2025 for businesses and a variety of public sector organizations. My colleague Julie Gonyou, Vice President in our Management Consulting Group, explains why AI was a major development for the public sector.
So in 2025, I would say AI didn't always arrive politely in Ontario's public sector through careful pilots or through tidy roadmaps. It embedded itself, and not because anyone was necessarily reckless, but because AI was bundled into technology a lot of organizations already relied on: procurement platforms, customer service tools, even enterprise solutions. So for a lot of organizations, AI showed up before it was even named, before boards and councils had asked about it, and before governance frameworks had caught up. So in many cases, it wasn't a planned pilot or something leaders were necessarily thinking about. It was just already there, quietly shaping decisions and workflows. So what caught a lot of leaders off guard in 2025 wasn't the technology. It was the realization that governance needed to pick up pace and move a lot faster. So AI isn't something that you can kind of sprinkle on complex problems and expect them to magically improve. The opportunity for transformation is real, yes. That's exciting, yes, but it also comes with a lot of risk. So I describe AI as being like a Swiss Army tool sometimes. And in 2025, there seemed to be a tool emerge for everything. You know, the versatility is certainly powerful, but not every tool is right for every task. And in the public sector, the consequences of using it wrong can be very real. So that's one shift we saw. AI didn't create a technology problem for the public sector. It exposed a leadership and a governance gap.
So, if it's about leadership and governance, what kind of questions should the public sector ask itself when it comes to AI?
So, across our work, boards and councils and executive leaders, we're asking really practical questions. What are we using? Who approved it? What data is involved? And how do we explain these choices if a regulator, an auditor, or the public asks? So the conversation really shifted beyond, let's be careful not to get hacked, towards something more human. How do we use AI to enable innovation without compromising privacy or fairness or public trust? So AI, we know, isn't waiting for permission. And what we've heard from leaders isn't resistance, but uncertainty. How do they even get started? So 2025 made one thing really clear. The work ahead isn't about using more tools and applying AI more frequently within the organization. It's about helping organizations get oriented, understanding where AI is in use, clarifying accountability, and putting those practical guardrails in place so that, they're well positioned to innovate and move forward with confidence.
It's probably fair to say that AI will continue to be a key topic in 2026. It will present likely both challenges and opportunities. So what will you be keeping your eyes on in the AI space, Julie?
So looking ahead to 2026, I'm watching the pace of AI itself. The tools are becoming more embedded, more autonomous, and more tightly woven into everyday systems. So capabilities are advancing faster than policies, training, and the oversight structures that are in place. And that gap is something that really matters because it really raises the stakes for how decisions are made, who's making those decisions, and how they're defended. So against that backdrop, the real question and trend I'm watching in 2026 is whether public sector organizations can move from principles to practice. And we know many organizations have AI statements and even ethical principles and draft policies, but far fewer organizations have made the really hard calls. Which tools are approved, which are off limits, which require review, and how oversight actually works day to day. Who has the authority to say yes or no? So governance is something we know matters when it holds under pressure. And a trend I'm watching is how scrutiny is increasing. Even if formal regulations are lagging, expectations within public sector are already tightening. Boards, auditors, privacy commissioners, and procurement teams are asking for evidence, documented risk assessments, clear decision pathways, a clear understanding of where humans sit in the loop. And boards and councils in particular are being pulled even closer to these conversations. because when something goes wrong, they'll be expected to explain not just what happened, but why it was allowed. So I'll be watching for the trend where AI stops being about curiosity and becomes about credibility. It's no longer a future issue for public sector. It's a present day governance challenge. So the real opportunity in 2026 isn't speed, it's clarity. And that's where the next phase of public sector transformation will be shaped. It's a moment that really matters to get it right.
Thank you for listening to Intended Consequences. The views expressed during this podcast are not necessarily the views of StrategyCorp. All rights for this episode are reserved, and the guests on the Intended Consequences podcast might be current or past clients of StrategyCorp. To find out more about the work of the Institute and to subscribe to our newsletter, visit our website at strategycorp.com/institute and make sure to follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn. I'm Sebastian Lebrac, and I intend to talk to you again next episode.